Okay.
Okay, hello everyone, and good evening, good afternoon, and I think good morning and good day wherever you're joining from. So, as usual, I want to say hi to those on LinkedIn, those on Facebook, and those on YouTube here with us. So, our normal tradition, please feel free to drop your name and where you're joining in from. And thanks to those that joined them yesterday's section on Commonwealth Scholarship. So today is mostly Q&A section. If you have any questions on scholarship, admission, or any concerns, or you just need some kind of tips, so please feel free to drop in your questions. So I'll quickly introduce myself, and I also have two speakers with me here. They're also Commonwealth scholars. So so I'm going to start first, followed by Praise, then Nina. So my name is Ejiro Matilda Ikoko. I'm a PhD student, University of Leeds. My research is on women and transport in sub-Saharan Africa, and I'm also a Commonwealth scholar and one of your regular hosts. So over to you, please.
Hi, my name is Praise My Guru, and I am a Commonwealth Shared Scholar, and my husband won a Chevron scholarship too. So I think I have some one or two things to say about scholarship, and I hope I can be of help to you today.
Thank you so much, Praise. And senior scholar, Nina.
Hi everyone. Good evening. My name is Nena Kata. I'm a Commonwealth Shared Scholar alumni 2019, Cranfield University, and I'm currently the CEO and co-founder for Monerate. Nice to meet you all, and we're looking forward to taking this chat to the next level.
Okay. Okay. So just like a soft reminder to those on LinkedIn, please don't be shy. Drop your name, where you're joining from. So I think yesterday we had people joining us from Nigeria, Tanzania, a lot of different countries. So please feel free to let us know where you're joining in today. So while we wait for them to drop their questions or their name, so I just want us to because from as scholars, I want to believe we have our own personal mentees or people that have reached out to us one on one, maybe during applications. So, what do you think are some of the common questions that people ask you, and what kind of advice do you give them? Maybe we can start from there, like the icebreaker. Any of you can go first, it's fine. Who wants to go first? I think
All right,
senior
all
scholar
right, I'll go
is
first.
anyone. Oh, great.
I'll go first. Um, okay, so no matter how much popular or how long the Commonwealth scheme have been, I think there is this notion that people feel that it's a very difficult scholarship to attain. There are also a group of people who don't believe that the academic qualification or work experience or whatever it is can qualify them to getting into the scholarship. They look at it as a mini god somewhere. But so for the past few years, speaking with a lot of people, people are always concerned about how do they meet the criteria. What are the kinds of things that Commonwealth put into consideration as part of the selection criteria. That's one. People are also, wary about how they want to approach their statement of purpose, their personal statements, right? So many people have that challenge in, coining their personal statement to align with some of the courses that they want to get. And people always think that, oh yeah, if I'm going for MSc in transport, for example, it has to be MSc in transport for all the schools I want to apply. I mean, some schools have different naming nomenclature or naming conventions for courses that are related. So you can give it a shot to things that courses that are around your area of interest so that you can widen your scope or widen the possibilities of you getting the scholarship. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, thank you. You know, just to add to that, when you were speaking in, I remember one of my colleague, no, I know actually a friend, and you were like, he didn't believe that ordinary people get the scholarship. You think maybe people that get this Commonwealth or all the scholarship are all those special people. But when he saw me, you were like, are you sure? So this is real. So people, there's this kind of mindset that is super tough, or it's only for the, like a friend said, for the elite or people in the high class or something. Yeah. So thank you, Nina, for that. Praise.
Yeah, it's the same for me too. It was until I got my scholarship that my
Oh,
husband believed that he too could get it.
wow.
So, yeah. Okay, so most of the questions I get is regarding the essays. And so my advice would be that each applicant should understand the aim and objective of each scholarship, because different scholarships are different, and then tailor their story to suit the aim and objective. Basically, give the scholarship body what it is that they are looking for.
Okay. Thank you so much. So Nina, you want to say something? Nina? Okay, great. Thank you, Praise, for that. Thank you so much. So just to before I it's well, no, one of the reasons why we do this program virtually is that people get to see the real people win it. So that's one of the advantage of this platform, because people don't see people. Maybe you can see maybe people's write up or something. When you see us speaking, apart from the fact we're answering your question, it's like a motivation, because okay, she won it, he won it. Now this is possible. So yeah,
Yeah.
so thank you so much for you both for sharing your story. It's really nice. Just to mention, I can see a lot of people on LinkedIn, but I don't know why they are shy to say hello. But okay, let's just go on then. Okay, so I have these questions because I have people coming to reach out and reaching out or not reaching out, and this about volunteering. So we had this question yesterday, but I want to just get your thought before we like proceed for today. For Chevening, if I'm not mistaken, they say they want 2 years for work experience. If you know about Chevening,
Yeah. Yeah.
great. Yeah, but for Commonwealth now, to the best of my knowledge, I know there's no number of years for volunteering experience. So somebody asked a question yesterday, and she mentioned that must it be 2 years to volunteer, or how long is in is a period for someone to volunteer that they can use that for the application?
Um, I think for Commonwealth, the length doesn't matter. It's just the impact, the relevance of the volunteer work that matters.
Okay, Nina.
Yeah, so for Commonwealth, I think if you look at the criteria, part of the application form, there's a place that's specifically written volunteer experience, right? It doesn't matter how long, maybe 2 years like Chevening or 3 years volunteer experience, but it's something that will come as an added advantage. So I always tell people to take advantage of every opportunity. If they say they want this, try to have something that qualifies for that, so that you can meet up with other points that you might be lagging. So, for example, myself, I had a volunteer experience. It wasn't much. My volunteer experience was 3 months. But the key thing that matters was that Praise said, the scope of my volunteer was in line with my personal statement and what I wanted to do for my master's, right? So in as much as you want to add that you volunteered maybe as a software engineer and you're applying for maybe transport, for example. So your volunteer experience has to be in line with your personal statement, in line with what you want to pursue, in line with maybe your work experience, or in line with your academic qualification. The reason is that it's always good to connect the dots. It's human beings that are reading your application, right? So you have to make
Yeah.
it make sense. Everything has to be connected. It doesn't matter how much you feel is irrelevant or not, but as far as there's a connecting dot, right? You say you have a passion to develop geospatial solutions to tackle agriculture and all that. In as much as what you want to do is geospatial science, but because you want to tackle agriculture and you said you have volunteered in maybe an organization or an NGO that was, that focused on agriculture, it means that okay, you come with a bit of experience that would add value to the course that you want to do, right? So it's always good that you connect everything that you want to put in your application together. Let that be a connecting dot. Doesn't matter how many years of experience. Mine was 3 months. So it means that you can even have 3 months volunteer experience and still scale through, right? So yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I love that. Connect the dots, let everything connect. I'm still waiting for questions. I can see for me on LinkedIn. Thank you so much. I don't know why your chat is not popping up on the main platform, but I can see you. Thank you for saying hello to us. And to others on LinkedIn, thank you so much. Please feel free to drop your questions. We're here to respond to them. If you're not sure, you need some clarity, you want some motivation, or somehow you want to just share something to inspire someone, so just let us know. Possibly you want to share your story about how this webinars or mentorship have impacted you, just let us know. I'm still on the issue of volunteering because I've having many questions on that a lot. Because no, so like somebody said, the person asked me, she said, how can she volunteer? So maybe I would like Nina to start in this, because people think that you must have a big company or a big NGO to go and volunteer. If you don't see it, then you cannot. So, and this kind of, and I feel some people have volunteering experience a lot, but they take it for granted, or they don't even know. So when they're writing the applications, they don't even know they volunteered at all. So can you people kind of like maybe expose how they can actually get opportunities, and also things that they do that are volunteering but they take for granted. Yeah.
Can I say something first
Okay,
before we
please,
see that?
please. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. During my time, I applied for a master's in education, and I remember using my volunteer experience in a children's Bible club as my volunteer experience. So there, I volunteered in a Bible club that did a lot of humanitarian work in IDP camps and sponsored children's school fees in the area. So I used that as my experience. And at the end of my story, I talked about how the volunteer experience impacted me and has um, built my drive for inclusive education. And so that was what I did. So it doesn't have to be in big NGOs or um, multinationals. Any work you have done that you were not paid for that has been meaningful to you as a person can fly.
Thank you so much. Nina.
So this is like really spot on. Praise.
Okay.
So
Thank
you know when you said, I was really eager to hear you land when you said you volunteered in a Bible quiz. And one thing that I wanted to ask is what's your course of study? What's your MSc on?
Education.
Perfect. So you see, it's education, right? And you might look at it like it doesn't make sense to add a volunteer, in children education. But mentioning inclusivity can mean anything. It could be anything. It could be religious inclusivity. It could be gender inclusivity. It could be anything. But provided you have, aligned it to what you want to study. So, to answer Ejiro's question, you see how she has connected the dots. No, a volunteer experience doesn't have to be like big multinational. You could even be volunteering in your present place of work, right? You could be A and you see that, oh, I've been employed to work as A, but there's a missing gap, or there's something in the B side of things, and you feel, okay, I want to explore that opportunity. And then when I'm doing this, you have to be very self-aware. You have to be conscious of what you want to take out from that volunteer experience. So you don't just volunteer for the sake of volunteering. So you have to be conscious, self-aware. When I get into this, if I volunteer for this, I want to take out A, B, C, D, right? It keeps you in the right direction. So for example, you even in the school setting, if you have worked as a PRO, student union, whatever, in whatever capacity, even as a class rep, right? No matter the capacity,
you.
what matters is what are you taking out of that volunteering experience. If you don't have an opportunity to volunteer to organizations, look around you. What can you make around your vicinity? I'm a student. I just graduated. I worked in the church. I worked in the student union. I did this in my class. Those little things that you want to that you've been doing on a regular could be volunteering. You don't have to have a letter of employment letter. Oh, you have been employed to volunteer for us before you can call it a volunteer experience. Provided it's something that you do willingly, it might be paid, it might not be paid. Um, so anything that you have done that contributes to your direct environment, that is if you don't have an opportunity to work in a big conglomerate like a big organization, you can look around you. What you've been It could even be small leadership capacity. If you've been a president in your class rep, if you've been a president in the school, it can serve for volunteering, it can serve for leadership capacity,
Yeah.
right? For all you know, little things, little drops of water make an ocean. You think it might not mean anything, but even to you yourself, you find growth in little things that you do. If you do
True.
something once, when you are doing it again, you will find out that your capacity is no longer the same. So those little opportunities around during your school period, after school, even during NYSC, maybe during your NYSC, you used to volunteer during your CDS to go and meet communities or school or students and give them water, humanitarian assistance, or teach them under the tree and all that. You can, if you are cautious, look around you, you would find one or two things that you have intentionally or non-intentionally volunteered for, and find a way to connect the dots as usual. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, in case you have anything to add, let me just chip in here because we have an international audience. So for those of you that are not Nigerians, NYC, do you want to help them or should I go on?
Oh, okay. Apologies for that. So NYSC is a compulsory national youth scheme for people who graduate from universities. They have to serve the country for 1 year, post work experience, pre-work experience rather.
Yeah.
So it's compulsory for everyone that is a Nigerian. I think some countries have it one way or the other. Some African countries, I know Ghana has something like that as
Yeah.
well. So some countries have something similar to that you do after you graduate here.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I know, please, I know you started, but you want to still add something? Please
No,
feel
no.
free to. Very
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Nina. Thank you so much. Okay, I really love the way we talked about volunteering. I was about to go to leadership, but Nina touched it a bit. So I'll just keep it there and pause it there and just go over to my next question. So there's this issue of publication that comes out a lot from a lot of mentees. Oh no, I don't have now. This is not just for Commonwealth, for most kind of scholarship, especially for PhD. You get so but also for other scholarship. You get um do you think, or from your experience, of course, these are your own thoughts and your experience, and from what you know, do you think publication is a must? First of all, to get into postgraduate schools and also to get funding. So while you think about what to say, I want to say once again to I can really see people on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on YouTube here, but nobody wants to say hi except someone on LinkedIn who said hi. So please feel free to tell us your name. Let us know where you're joining from. We know we're not alone. We can see you, but please just say hi to us and let us at least know how versatile or how vast our audience are. So thank you so much. So we want to start. Nina, please.
Okay, let me start. For me, I think publications are important. I don't know if it is a must, but I know that they are important. I say this because I tried applying for Commonwealth Masters scholarship before this Commonwealth Share Scholarship. I did not have publications, and I felt that that was one of the reasons why I wasn't selected. So I tried again 2 years later, I guess. Then I had two publications under my sleeve, and then I put, there's a section on the application form for publication DOI, and so I put everything on there, and I got it. So I don't know if it's a must, but I think it is important.
Okay, thank you so much, Nina.
The praise.
Nina, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, clearly.
Okay. So I think I'm on the same ship as praise. So for For my MSc, I didn't have a publication. I didn't have a publication at all. So it's an added advantage. If you have the opportunity to, it's good you have it. If you don't, you look out for other key areas that you find strength in, and key into it, and try to use it to strengthen your application. So it matters to some point. If you have maybe for your degree, for the people that just graduated that still have access to their thesis project, a lot of people that I've met that wanted to do Commonwealth, you ask them what about your thesis, they don't know where it is and all that. You still have access to it. It'll be a good thing that you also publish it, your degree thesis. You can also publish it out there. But for PhD, it really depends, right? It really depends if it's going to be on the conventional scholarship route or the direct school funding route or the supervisor funding route. So anything you can make out of your time, maybe during your MSc. That is, if you did your MSc maybe in the UK or Canada or US, any of these countries, is your public profile, right? To me, I feel your public profile speaks a lot. So, for example, I use myself for example. One of the PhD that I rejected was in the US.
Nina?
As at that time, I didn't have a publication. But what I did was um, during my MSc period, the COVID time and all that, I developed a dashboard, a COVID-19 dashboard. There was a lot of PR on it, newspaper published it, and all that, a lot of mention, and that came in like as a strength, and I used it for it. So, if you can, it's advisable. Please publish. In as much as we didn't do that, but it's also like an added advantage. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nina. I remember that that platform. I actually said it went like a lot of good PR. Yeah, that was great. I remember that. Okay, so I think people are not being much friendly to us by telling us their name and where they're joining from. So just say thank you for joining from Nigeria. My other people that don't want to tell us your name, thank you for joining us too. We can see you. So thank you so much. Okay. Um I want to go to the next question now because next we're having a section on school in the US, where we have people come to talk about the challenges and what students don't do that they should have done. But this particular issue, which I want to mention now, is actually common in almost all application. You need it. Now, this is what they call reference. Now, for everything you do, you must need the reference. It could be scholarship, admission, yeah, job. You need a reference for most things nowadays. So I'm going to speak. I want us to share, first of all, share your experience when it comes to references, as in because it's sad that first of all people get general reference. When I mean general, they use one reference for everything. That's number one. Number two, they get reference that they don't give show the strength which they of what they've done. At the same time, they might even get reference from people that give them something that will make them disqualified. Now I've heard about that, and that's sad. Especially those applications whereby your referee will not make you see the reference letter. Those ones are really sad. So I want you to just so I want to keep it open. Can you share any experience or any tips or advice on referencing? I just keep it open. I don't want to give any direction because you might say something useful that I might not know. So I don't want to lead you. So anything on reference, just share your experience or what you think is people don't know about or what people should know. Just in general, anyone can start.
Okay, about reference, I
Yeah,
think it's best to collect a reference letter from someone whom you're close to, someone you are more friendly with, because that person is likely to write better things about you than generic things about you.
so what if the person's not your friend? Or
Not
what if you don't
necessarily
have a friend?
friend.
That kind
Okay,
of
for example, during my time, I collected reference from my most favorite professor in school, the professor who taught me and whose subject I loved the most. And yeah, that was the person I collected reference from. And then he gave me the liberty to see the reference letter he was writing.
that's
Yes.
lovely.
So That was it. That's why I
Okay.
said choose the person you're most friendly with, because that person, you already have a relationship with that person, and it's better.
So what if you're those quiet person in school, noise to talk? You don't have any relationship with anybody.
Okay,
What will
maybe
happen
your
to you?
project supervisor, because that person related more with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I love that. Don't mind me. I was just playing around, but that's nice.
It's possible.
Nina.
Okay, so for reference to me, it's not a one size fits all
Okay.
situation. Um, so it all boils down to you as a person, how far you can go to network, and the intentionality about your networking, the kind of people you reach out to. Don't wait for when you want to apply for a scholarship to reach out to someone to write a
Yeah.
reference. I don't know you, we don't talk, I don't know you from Jack, and all of a sudden you want me to write reference, right? So it's something that you have to have pre-planned, right? Make some key moves before you get to reference. If even if it entails you making friends with the person, like Praise rightly said, someone that knows you, and someone that does not just know you in one or two capacity, right? So you can use a reference from your workplace, for example, your boss. If you don't communicate with this person, you guys don't know each other minus work, it's going to be difficult for that person to come out and put out a reference letter. Some people can also be busy. There are scenarios where you've networked, you know a lot of people that can put out good and perfect references for you. You send them notification, they will not write it until it expires. Um, for that scenario, it will be good that you put out put out the reference yourself, right? Draft the very basic part of the reference, because some people can be lazy. They want to do the reference for you, but they don't have the time to come and be writing reference for you. So put down the draft. You know the capacity that you've worked with this person, so put in that capacity. That's what matters. How long have you known this person? I've known this person for like 3 4 years. We've worked in this capacity. This person has this ABCD skill. Always try to mention something in your reference letter. If you have the opportunity to meet people that will allow you draft,
Yeah,
always make sure that you pinpoint things that align to your course of study. I'll give you, for example, I'm applying. Sorry, Ejiro, I'm on you today.
No,
I'm
please go
applying for
on.
MSc Transport. I'm applying for MSc Transport. In your reference letter, if you've worked in anything that has to do with logistics, at all, you can say, oh, I've known this person for 3 years. In that period of 3 years, this person really helped us move this car from point A to point B, right? Even if it's one silent point that speaks about your capacity, that aligns with what you want to do, it sells far than just writing a generic. So I'll really advise people not to use generic reference letter, right? Generic reference letter, you might not know one or two paragraphs that is off key, because you might be applying for Commonwealth scholarship, right? And you have applied to 5 schools. And out of that 5 school, it might not be MSc Transport. It might be MSc Transport here, MSc Logistics here, MSc Movement here, and all that. So if you use a generic reference letter, you might be shooting yourself in the leg, because you might not do the due diligence to spot that something is missing. So go to your course page in the school that you want to go. Look at the courses. Most of these schools, they will write what you will learn in this course, in this program. Pick what you will learn. Use that what you will learn. Put it that Find a way to align it to what you have done before and say, this person has it. So if this person learns ABCD, it means this person is going to improve more. So don't just write things to write. Always be how will I put it? Have a target, right? For me, it worked. It might not work for others, but I think it's something that can work. Everything that you want to do has to come from your past, present, and the future. Your past, what you've done before, your present, what you are aspiring to do, and then your future. If I finish this course, I'll be able to do ABCD. So you pick one, just one, and put in the reference set and say, this person has worked in this capacity. I believe that if this person does this program in your school, the person will be able to come back and add value to our organization, to Nigeria, or to wherever it is that you're coming from. from, right? So you put it in the reference letter, put it in different, don't make generic reference letters, that you want to use to apply. Always opt for, please, can I send you a draft? Maybe you say, okay, I want you to do reference letter for me, and the person says, okay. What you can do is do a follow on and say, I know you are a very busy person. I understand the nature of ABCD. Do you mind if I send you a draft? Right? I mean, except for people that are very strict, I know academics and professors, they might say no, don't worry, and all those. But people that really genuinely want to help you out can say, okay, send me a draft. Once they send that draft, it gives you a controlled narrative. If the person starts writing the reference letter, it might just write, this person is good, I've known this person. Some scholarship or some schools states ABCD that would need to be in the reference letter already. They'll say, put how long you have known this person, in one capacity you have known, and all that. But if you write a draft and send, you're controlling the narrative. Once the
Yeah.
person reads that draft, what he already wanted to write will disappear from his head. You are controlling what comes out of that reference letter. No matter how much he turns that reference letter, your narrative will still speak inside it whenever he writes it, no matter how much of a professor the person wants to be. As far as he has read that drive, you have already taken charge and controlled the narrative of the output of that reference letter. But in case the person does not want you to send a draft, what you can do is to say, okay, these are the key and salient points. The school wants us to write how long you have known me. The school wants us to give the person the writing point, for the person to write, and then allow it to flow that way. So different strokes. It depends on the situation. But please, I don't advise people to wake up and start applying for things. For example, for me, I got Commonwealth scholarship in 2019. I started making research for Commonwealth. I started preparing in 2017, 2016. My first application was
Experience.
2017. I didn't submit it in 2017. I just applied it till expired because I was like, oh man, don't meet. Oh. But all those gaps that I saw on time that I didn't meet, I became better, right? I knew about it in 2016. I did all my research in 2016. 2017, I was ready to apply. I had all my everything, reference, when I started applying, got to the application form, what I did was I copied out what was in the form and put in the Microsoft Word document. All
Yeah,
those
that's
points that they say, write 100 words about this, write this. I copied everything. I put it in the Microsoft Word. So when it expired in 2017 that I didn't submit, I started writing before 2018. I started writing all those things all over again, prepared. It was in the 2018 that I got into reserve. I didn't make it into the final one. Then in 19, I got it. But I had already started laying my bed. I wouldn't say be like me, 3 years or 2 years to prepare, but at least give yourself time. 6 months. If you hear about Commonwealth today and is expiring this month or next month, unless you are good, unless you are exceptional, you can apply. But I'll advise you to take your time, study it. You've heard about it, it's expiring next month. Shoot for the next one. Be prepared, ask questions, use the opportunity to look out for people that have gotten into that scholarship. Be prepared. Once you get your point from 1, 2, 3 people under mentorship, I bet you your application will be stronger than you would have thought if you have applied 1 month you heard about the program, regardless of the scholarship that you want to apply, be it Commonwealth or Chevening. Prepare, prepare ahead of time and make a strong application. So yeah.
Nina, that was like a lot. Thank you so much. Prepare, 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 prepare. And please, Nina keep using transportation as a reference because I'm studying transportation. So that's why she keeps doing that. But it's allowed, okay? Okay, thank you so much. So while we are speaking, we had some questions pop in the chat, but let me just acknowledge we have Paul from Zambia. Thank you so much. We have Joseph from Nigeria and the other people that don't tell us their name, which I hope they will before the program ends. So we have a first question from Joseph. And it says, it's like Commonwealth scholarship is very much concerned about age. Any hope for people above 50 years? So anyone can take it, it's fine. Okay, nobody speak it.
I know that there are different types of Commonwealth scholarship. There's Commonwealth Fellowship, Commonwealth Split Sites Fellowship, scholarship. There are different scholarships that can cover different age range. I mean, is there any cap to learning? So I don't
No, I
think
love
there's
that.
any cap to the age requirements on Commonwealth scholarship. I'm not sure.
Nina, is Nina there?
I don't.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
great.
I'm here. I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking in my head, like Frey said. I don't think. Um, I don't know. I'm not sure that there is an age limit for Commonwealth scholarship. What I know and what I can advise you is to take advantage of your situation, right? Take advantage. Everything is not a disadvantage. Take advantage of it. Yes. So at 50 is my morning. I've been doing ABCD till 50. And I know that if I have this opportunity, I stand a better chance to deliver in the next 3 years, in the next 2 years. In my field of work, it's only people that are 50 years and above that get into the formal sector. Look for the advantage in what you feel might be a disadvantage. Use it to write your
Yeah.
personal statement. Mention it in your personal statement that you are 50 years, if you are 50 years, right? Let the person be like, oh, wow, okay, you're 50. And then the person will start expecting to see what you now have to say about it, right? Put it in the face of the person that I'm 50 when I'm reading it. The person will be intrigued to see how you want to defend that salient a move that you made. Then you strike. In your strike, you say that because of this, I have been studying, I've been researching for over this, or I didn't have the opportunity where I grew up. I grew up from a developing country. In my community, I'm the last. My father and my mother have to train 50 people before it get to me. By the time it got to me, I was 40. I believe now I'm ready. Find an advantage in your situation, right? I wasn't opportune to go to school on time, or I was working to train my elder ones, because my junior ones or whatever, because I believe in education. Now I feel is the time for me to find an advantage and make use of it. So yeah.
Thank you so much. One thing I like about with these scholars, because we are so enlightened, we don't really give you a yes or no answer. We create content. We give you situations. Like Nina always say, take advantage. Nina mentioned she's the CEO of Money Rate, so she's always any way to take advantage. She's ready, always anytime. So Nina, thank you so much. I won't respond to that. I'll rather allow Shoaib. Shoaib is also okay. Let them not say what I shouldn't say. So Shoaib will respond to that. Just quickly introduce yourself and respond to that. Then we can go on because I have some questions on the chat. Shoaib, can you
Thank
hear
you.
me?
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm Shoaib Arogundade, and I know what Ejiro wants to say. Ejiro wants to say Dr. Shoaib
Doctor.
Arogundade. Yeah, yeah, I
Yes,
just
Dr.
listened.
Schreiber, I'm backing
Doctor,
her too.
yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, I recently passed my PhD viva, but I told Ejiro, I said it's not
Congratulations.
yet official because I've not gotten the letter of conferment from the university.
Mm,
So don't use doctor in front of my name
okay.
yet.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
what I told Ejiro. But yes, I'm Shrai Barogunda. They recently passed my PhD viva in construction carbon reduction. That's my research, and also starting up a company, working on building an AI tool for carbon management in the built environment sector, backed by the Royal Academy of Engineering. So that's me in short. In terms of contributing to the question, I think Nina did justice to the response. When I joined, what Nina was saying was just very spot on. I don't think I have anything to add, so that I don't waste much time. We can move to the next question. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for our twist because this is really very interesting. Just to mention, I don't think for Commonwealth there's no age. I doubt there's an age limit. I don't think so because I know some people that are like 50, late 40s. I think even above 50. So I don't think there are. But what I can advise is look at the what's it called the criteria of the scholarship. There's always something for everyone. You need to expand your search. That's the truth. And one thing is that even if some scholarship give you criteria, they still have exceptional cases, and that is not up to you to let them know why you are exceptional. Like you know, say everything must not be a disadvantage. It can be an advantage. You just need to sit down and turn it.
Hmm.
So thank you so much. So while we were Nina was speaking, we had other questions, but I also want to acknowledge people. We have someone from Botswana. I think this is the first time I'm seeing someone from Botswana. I've seen from Zambia, Kenya, Tanzania, UK, Ireland, Netherlands, but not from Botswana. So I don't know the time difference, but Swazi, thank you for joining in. Thank you so much. We also have from Nigeria, Abubakar Abdullahi. Thank you for joining in so much. I think most of my fasting, but you're still here with us. And thank you, Shuaib, too, for joining in. So we have another question on the chat, and it's from Paul. And I think Paul is from Zambia. Yeah, this is Paul from Zambia. So please just on LinkedIn. I can really see a lot of people on LinkedIn, but they're not saying hi. Please be nice to say hi, your name and where you're joining in from. Let's know how vast our audience are. So Paul from Zambia have a question. He says, how do you know that the scholarship body has sent a request to your proposed referee to write a reference letter so that you remind them to write it? Because I have not received a notification myself whether they have told my referee to write my reference letter. I don't think it's specifying for any scholarship, but well, let me leave it open. Let the speakers address it from any perspective they want to. So let's start with Shuaib. If you just came in, or you need time, you can go back to anyone.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like you said, this person is not referring to any particular scholarship. However, most times you might really not know that they have sent letter to. I mean, based on my own personal experience, you might really not know if they have sent an email thereabout to your referee, to submit their reference letter. However, if they don't receive response early, they could then notify you to chase your referee. Sometimes, you could be lucky for the scholarship body or the university to prompt you to say, go chase your reference or something. However, as a rule of thumb, what I do is anytime I use someone as my referee to provide reference letter, I let them know that, okay, so I've applied for so school, or I've applied for so scholarship, and I've used you as my referee. So you might be getting an email from so body. All right. So once I notify them, well, some would respond early to say, okay, yes, I'll be expecting, an email from them. Some will not respond at all. But so it's left to you to continuously chase. Okay. But I think for Commonwealth, if it's Commonwealth shared scholarship, like the one I got, when it was time to get reference from the referees, I think we were prompted to say, okay, so the next stage is, we're expecting red letter from a referee or something. And I just basically let them know that, oh, you probably have gotten an email from Commonwealth or something. And they feel that I can understand your challenge because everybody that we use as referee, they are different. The their business is different, and so and relationship you have with those people is also different. So but my own advice is that anybody you want to use as referee should be someone that reasonably you've developed some sort of a relationship with. And this is a call to action that we should not wait until when we want reference letter from people before we start, engaging with them. Because as at then, you will not have some sort of, good relationship with them, and it might affect you chasing them because you will probably be feeling reluctant to chase them, right? So ensure that you build that relationship from now, if you've not, okay, for future reference letter thereabout that you will need from them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just before you guys proceed, I think Paul mentioned that it's a Commonwealth shared, so he sent a follow up. So I believe when Nina and Pose are responding to, you can give it from that perspective. So anyone can go um first, Nina or Praise.
Okay. I'm a Commonwealth shared scholar, so I think I can say one or two things. Well, when you have been nominated by the school and your application has been sent forward to the Commonwealth Scholarship Board, you would then be required to follow up with your referees and tell them to send their reference to a particular email address. That is how you would know. So until you receive that email from Commonwealth saying, send this, tell your referees to send email to this, your reference email, sorry, to this email address. That's how you would know.
Thank you so much. And Nina,
Okay, so I'll answer it from 2 points, from the general point and then from the Commonwealth. But I think during our time, the reference came before the nomination. I think they changed the modus operandi. I think now you have to be nominated before the reference. Our reference, everything came before. Once they're nominated, that's the end of the journey. But on the portal, once you put in the names of the people that you want to use as reference, most portals, Commonwealth and every other portal, um, it's usually automatic. Once you put the person's email and send, the person will usually get the email directly in his inbox. All you have to do is to two things: ask the person to check his spam box, to check his email and see if he received it and do a follow up. If the person didn't receive it, please check back on your portal if you use the correct email address. Maybe you might have made a mistake in the email address. Once you confirm that the email is correct, some portal now, from the generic point of view, some portal that requests for reference would give you an opportunity to resend, right? Send again, right? In case the person didn't get it at the first instance, you send it again for the person to receive. I know someone from my set, Commonwealth shared on the portal, send reference. The referee didn't get it. The person that's supposed to write the reference didn't get it. And it was 1 week to go. How many resend and all that? All he had to do, I think he wrote an email to Commonwealth and say, oh, my referee couldn't submit the referee, couldn't get the email or had some challenges and all that. Then they gave him an email address to give the person to use that email he used in the application. So to be sure is the right person that is making the reference, and send it to that email address. So please don't wait for your reference to expire. Follow up with the person. Tell the person to check spam. If you have the opportunity to resend from your portal, resend. If you've tried every opportunity and no way, please reach out to the body, the Commonwealth or whatever scholarship body, or and just, it's better to speak out and say, this is the situation I'm in. Please help me. Come to my rescue. So that I think they will usually be open to give you options if there is no other way. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have other question, but let me just acknowledge we have Adele from Algeria. Thank you so much. We have Samuel from Mozambique. Thank you, Samuel. We have Udwak. Now, Udwak is a Commonwealth scholar and is also my mentor. So, Udwak, thank you for joining us. And please feel free to all Commonwealth scholars joining in the background. Please feel free to drop responses if you have contributions to make. We really appreciate it. So feel free to drop on the chat and we can actually display your comments. Thank you so much. And to our speakers, Paul is saying thank you for your response. I think you've helped me a lot. So I think you've solved that dilemma for me, saying thank you to answering this response. So we have other questions. So if you just feel free, those on LinkedIn, it's kind of fun. We have a lot of people on LinkedIn, but they are really very, very good people. So, all right, so let us know your name and where you're joining from. So our next question is from Abdul Ali from Nigeria, and it says, please, I need more light on what is the best order of writing any of the essays. For instance, do you start with recent to previous or previous to recent occurrences if you are writing leadership essay? So this is a discussion, so anybody feel free to start and chip in. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, I'll go first. Uh, See, one thing, first things first, I'm going to say that there is no right or wrong answers when you're writing essays. Okay. It all depends on how you spin it. Okay. So, if you want to write from previous to recent occurrences, that's fine. As long as your the previous occurrences you want to write is punchy. I like to use the word punchy. It could easily draw people in, then start from that. But if it's the recent occurrence that can draw people in, start from that. But if you ask for my personal opinion, okay, I like to start from broad issues. Okay, so it's not so when I'm starting from broad issues, right, a broad issue is an issue that is current. Okay, it's not something that has happened in years ago. So it could have happened years ago, but it is still an issue at this present day and time that I'm writing. Okay, so I would say something around that broad issue, okay, which is germane to my field of, expertise that I'm applying for the scholarship for. Okay, so for instance, I'm an environmentalist, yeah, civil and environmental engineer. So I'm working in the area of carbon reduction, oil spill management, and all of that. So I like to talk about in recent times, there is environmental challenge that is being faced by human being, and one of it is, so it depends on what I'm writing on at that particular point in time. Okay, so one of it is probably oil spill, and then we start going deep into, okay, why do I think oil spill is a challenge? Okay, I identify the area that it is a challenge. I then identify how I think I'm the best person, okay, to solve this challenge, okay, based on my own knowledge and understanding. All right. So for me, it's not a case of broad, I mean, it's not a case of previous to current, or current to previous. It's a case of broad to then niching it down into the area that I'm writing on. So that's the way I like to write essays. All right. But now, if you are looking at it from your experience perspective, in terms of, okay, maybe what I've done in my life and all of that, again, it depends on your personal circumstances. And you're applying for a scholarship, you want to write an essay. What you are doing presently, does it relate to that scholarship that you are applying for? So if it relates, it will be, it will only make sense to start from that, present knowledge and then drive back. Okay. But if it's what you have done in the past that relates to the scholarship you're applying for, there is no need to write on the present. Okay. You want to focus, basically, you want to focus on those experiences, those occurrences that mirrors the scholarship you're applying for. All right. So that's going to be my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. If you don't
Okay.
have anything to say, it's fine. Okay, great.
I want to add just 2 cents to what Doctor has said. So whatever you want to write for your whatever you want to write for your leadership essay, please do not start with I was ever since I was a child, I have always had leadership positions, or I was a head boy or head girl in my secondary school. Please do not start with that. Start with something more recent. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you. And Nina.
See you,
Okay.
moderate.
So Shrive. So I'll borrow Shrive's word, punchline.
Yeah,
So when you're
being a doctor.
writing essay, yeah. So when in writing, always use a punchline, right? I'll give you scenarios, things that people really resonate to, or things that you feel the reader might not know, and is of interest. Then you drill down to the problem and then the solution. I mean, it doesn't take one pattern. The subject matter or what you are writing decides on how you write, right? So I'll take, for example, I'll use two scenarios. I'll use my master's and I'll use the current situation. For money rates, right? Um, at the present moment, do you know that Africans migrate more to other African countries than they migrate to diaspora, UK, Canada, right? So people are like, oh, really? Right? People migrate more to other African countries than you think people go to UK and Canada. A lot of people go to Kenya, Cameroon, and all that from Africa, right? People will be like, oh, okay, what are you trying to say? Is that true? Right? Something to spin the reader's interest to say, oh, really? Could that be true? But I'm only hearing about UK, Canada. Then you drill down to say those people that move from Nigeria to Kenya don't have a way of changing their money when they go to Kenya. They usually change their naira to dollar, and then when they get to Kenya, they change their dollar to Kenya. The person will be like, "Oh, really? Is that true? Is that what's happening?" But it's very conventional. You see most fintech apps, you see change your money from dollar to naira, pounds to naira, and all that. But you'd hardly see naira to Kenya, naira to Cameroon. Now the person is ready to listen to the problem and the solution. Now you now say the problem now is there's no way they lose money by converting to dollar and then dollar to Kenyan shilling, for example. But what we are building now is giving you a way to change directly. You don't lose money and all that, right? So when you are writing at first, don't make it about yourself. Make it about the problem you want to solve. I'll give you another example. When I did my MSc, what I was applying for was GIS, right? But what I did in my story, what I did in my essay, in the application part, the essay part, was that I said, do you know that as at then, that was in 2019, in 2018, World Health Organization, the UNSCR, reported that ABCD, I think about 25,000 people were displaced in the northeast Nigeria. Right? You back it up with facts and figures. If possible, make a reference, 2018 data, back it up so that the person knows that you know what you're saying. Right? And then you come and say, these people have been displaced. There is no way to produce. Agriculture is being affected because they're moved out of their farmland. The person is interested to know, what are you saying? You're doing GIS. Where are you driving at? You are giving the person a room to sit down and listen to you. You're creating an atmosphere, right? So write as a story, write it from a story point, and write it from a, like Tribe said, write it from the very broad perspective. Then you start drilling down. These people have been displaced. These are the number of people that have been displaced. Then you move to farming. Because there are fewer people that farm, there are lesser produce, right? But now I want to study GIS because I want to bring in mechanism that people can use, no matter the little hand they have in the farm, to generate more yield, right? Precision farming, agriculture, right? And stuff like that. So have a storyline. I'll rather advise people, if it's possible, draw it like a map or draw it like a flow chart, right? Connect it. Have your story point. Start from this. Okay, if I write this, this is what is going to follow. If I write this, even if it's just a point before you start, don't just dive into writing. Write as a story so that whatever your first paragraph would be should be something that will make the person relax to read the remaining paragraph. Sometimes when you start your essay with something that is very inconsistent to, or something that is confusing people, they will close your essay. It's human beings, not machines, that read it, right? You don't write to throw the person off, so that the trigger the person to be interested in your story. Now then you start digging and digging until you hit the point where you come in. Don't write your essay from a first person point of view. I want to do this. This is what me, like Praise said. 5 years ago, I didn't have the opportunity to go to school. Who cares? You can start from that point and say, because you've not been opportune, now that I have the opportunity, you see where you connect it. I now want to make a difference. So whatever your essay is about, make it a story, make it make sense to you, and before it can make sense to someone that is reading it, right? Start from the punchline and then you drill down to this problem, you drill down to the solution. People will be reading your essay and be clapping by themselves. It happens. Someone reads someone's piece and just you start clapping by yourself and be like, what's going on? So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, please go on.
1 minute, Ejiro. So thank you, Nina, for that. What I want to point out is that use a storyline that flows. It's very important. That line, you need to hold on to it, because one thing I see mostly is I see people writing essay, and then when you move from like the first paragraph to the second paragraph to the third paragraph, then you are lost. It's not connecting to each other. So you need that storyline to be consistent, to flow all through, because when it becomes vague, all right, and first paragraph, and then I get second paragraph, I don't understand what I'm reading again, because what you are saying in first paragraph does not seem to connect there. You lose the reader. you lose the person's interest, and that's it. Because, and you have to understand that they are reading probably hundreds, you know, or
True.
tens of scholarship essays or thereabout. If it's not flowing, once they are out, they just lock up, and then it might just end up being, I mean, I don't think this person, is the right candidate. So don't make it vague. Follow that storyline, and then not only for scholarship essays, even when you are when during your interview, for people that have Chevening interview coming up and all of that, practice your storyline. Let it flow. This happens even during my Viva, the examiners, this is one thing they also looked at. Okay, in terms of when they were reading my thesis, they mentioned that they like how it flowed, throughout the thesis. And when I was talking, I ensured that that storyline mirrors that. So I started from broad, and that's my perspective. That's what I do. I started from broad, then I started bringing it down and bringing it down and bringing it down. you know and the examiner, after we completed, he said he liked the fact that I went from broad to specific. And then he now linked it up to one interview that he did, while he was interviewing for lecturing position, right? He says some people, they are so vague, they are just all over the place. There is no focus. So you need to focus. And I think the challenge is that sometimes we feel we have a lot of things to say, and then we must put everything in this essay so that the person will know that, oh man, I got to get this thing because I got this. You understand what I mean? So we have to ensure that you all those shafts, you remove those shafts, and then focus on the meat. And I think you with God on your side, or thereabout, you will get what you want. Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Just to add on, oh, I want to say something,
Yeah, so
Nina.
I just wanted to write on what Shoaib said. So being a scholar, one thing I always tell people is not all about being a first class student. So being a scholar is a touch of ABCD. That's why they look out for ABCD, right? In your application. They don't just look at your CGPA. You can have a CGPA and then you lose out in every other aspect. So writing is something that will live with you as a scholar, and even after your scholarship, and all that. So they'll always look at it. The way you write sometimes tells more about who you are, right? If you're a very composed person, your writing will be very composed. So they look out for those key things, right? So don't really focus on just one aspect, my academic qualification and first class, and then you lose out on other parts. Your writing is a skill. You have to develop it, and you have to read and read different writing styles, just to add up to how you also write. People write differently, right? But when you are writing, like I always say, let there be connecting dots in everything. What you said in your essay should be in your application, should be in your volunteer experience, should be somehow. It might not be word to word, but don't miss out on anything. Connect everything together, make it make sense, right? Because it's people that will read your application. If they pick it up and then they lose it, people lose interest. First paragraph, they lose interest. I mean, what else do you want to write to convince the person, right? So that's it.
Thank you so much. Just to mention it, is it smart? He said he used a star approach when it comes to writing an essay. So there are people
Yeah.
that actually do this, and for those of us that don't know what the star approach is, the star approach is um,
Situation.
situation,
Task.
task, activity, result, and lessons.
Nonsense.
So let me move on. Just to mention, I excuse me. Please, I couldn't find your name on LinkedIn, so if you can please quickly share your LinkedIn profile with us, so you can display, so they can connect with you on LinkedIn. That'd be great. Okay. So we have other questions. So let me quickly go to the next question. Next question is from, I think, F1 Lab, and it says, I have chosen Railway System Engineering and Integration MSc at University of Birmingham and have been shortlisted for the Chevron interview. Congratulations to you. I still haven't selected an interview date yet. Okay, okay, let me proceed. Because I can't find any slot for me in the portal. Is this normal? The deadline listed in the Chevron application time is 26 April. Who wants to respond to that? I can go back again if you want.
Well, I don't know if anybody has this sort of experience. If yes, then maybe you can jump in. But from my experience, because I did Chevron interview once,
Oh, okay,
okay,
great.
uh, maybe the procedure has changed because I mean it's been almost 6, 7, or maybe 10 years ago since I did Chevron interview. I think that what happened then was it was quite straightforward for me to pick a date, and so I don't know what's happening here. But what I think I can advise is that you can send an email.
Yeah.
There'll be an email that you'll probably be able to sort of reach out to say, okay, I'm trying to book an interview slot. I can't find the date and all of that. And then they will respond to you. But I want to believe that's so. What my question is going to be that hope you are looking at the region, that you are based on the Chevening portal, the kind of portal they're asking you to choose your interview date in and all of that. So, because if you are not looking at your region, then it might be a case of, you not seeing a date. But I want to believe that that's not the case. So, if that's not the case, and that still persists till probably the end of this week that we're starting, you want to probably reach out to Chevening to let them know that, this is an issue. Like Nina said earlier, always speak up. Don't let any opportunity pass you by. Speak up, just like you're speaking up here now. Just speak up to Chevening, okay? And I believe that will be sorted out.
Anyone else? Thank you for that, Shob. Anyone else? Should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on. I think he answered it. He
Yeah,
got reach out to Chef. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much. And just to mention this, there's one important thing about the called community. If you belong to a sharing group or a WhatsApp group, I believe you can lay out this concern. And if you're the only one with that issue, then you need to start speaking up. But if there are other people, then you can all manage it together. So you see the importance of community, because so you're not just being in the city and don't know what's happening. Thank you so much for that, speakers. So the next question is okay, from Adele from LinkedIn. Question to Dr. Shuaib. Should I not call it doctor? Should I say Shuaib or should I call it doctor?
It's fine. Anyone is fine.
I'm putting the question. Question to Dr. Shuaib. What are the necessary procedures that we can take to reduce the carbon emission of the railway industry? Just before you answer that, so one important thing of this platform is we are looking at anything scholarship, and especially can be admission, can be funding, can be learning, anything. So we're not just for prospective students, we're also for current students also. So it's a very like vast platform. So thank you, Adele, for that question. So Dr. Shuaib.
Yeah. Adele, I want to believe that you know that this is a broad topic that you've raised. This is not something we can, tackle on this particular platform today. But what I would just advise you is you can check one of my articles that I published. So where in the article, what I did was to review um, the various carbon reduction strategy. I adopted a systematic literature review approach, which was quite comprehensive. Uh, you can check the article out, and is I said the title of the article is an holistic carbon reduction strategy for the construction industry. The railway industry is part of the construction industry, so that's part of built environment industry, and that would shed quite a lot of light, into different approaches that we can take to reduce carbon emission in the railway industry, which is part of the built environment sector as a whole. And then we can take on the specifics later. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So you can just search for his name on Google Scholar and you see his
Yes.
papers. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much. And so our speakers,
So I'm interested. Sorry, Ejiro. I'm interested in
yes,
this
yes.
topic. Shoaibu. So please pardon me. I'm a talkative. So
No, you're not.
so
Go on.
carbon emission, carbon emission, methane, and NO2 emissions, carbon capture, and all that. It's a subject matter that I'm very much interested in. And I mean, you come from from the experience already. in the field, and also to maybe like Ejiro said, we are also learning. Also for the purpose of the person listening. Um, I think carbon emission in the railway or transport in the railway system is the least global carbon emission accounted for, right?
Oh, is that a
The
question?
percentage of carbon emission. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, so um, see, in terms of carbon emission being accounted for, whether be it in the railway industry,
Mm-hmm.
be it in the building sector, be it in
Yeah.
commercial infrastructure sector, okay, they all are
Mm-hmm.
facing the same challenge in terms of capturing, the actual amount of carbon that is being emitted, right? So it's a given,
Okay.
it's a challenge that the industry is grappling with. Okay, just last week, the United Nations actually brought together different stakeholders, in Paris, looking at, building and climate emission. And one of the discussion points is how they can have a consistent way of calculating the embodied carbon across the
Okay.
construction industry. So this is not limited to just the railway industry, right? Because railway
Mm.
industry is part of infrastructure assets. Okay, so they are not singling out
Okay.
that. Now, if you want to drill down, I did not drill down just only on railway. Okay, I based on my research, I looked at all the broad spectrum of building and infrastructure. Okay. And I found similar challenge all through. What is happening at the moment that is getting the most attention, okay, is the products we are utilizing to build. So in the railway industry specifically,
Mm.
we use a lot of steel, right, to lay the railway track. Okay.
Mm.
So
Mm.
steel is a challenge in terms of reducing carbon during the production of steel. Okay, research is going on how to reduce carbon in that area. Okay, a lot of research in
Mm.
Cambridge, in Birmingham, and I'm happy that I think the person that asked the question is going to Birmingham, if I'm correct. Birmingham University is doing quite a lot of research in that area as well. And so uh, I don't want to get into the specifics of what are the things that they are doing at this minute, because like I said, is a broad topic. However, when you look at that's for the product, when you look at the actual installation, okay, of, let's say, they are laying the tracks and all of that, there are carbon being emitted in that instance as well. And that one is neglected. Oh, don't let me say neglected, it's often neglected. Okay. And because of its neglect, it will only continue to grow. That's what I found out during my research anyway. And that's why I carried out my research, because I focused on the construction process. So when they are laying the railway
Mhm.
tracks, when they are, laying uh, when they are constructing the road, when they are doing the actual construction of buildings and all of that, the kind of carbon emission that is being emitted during that period, how can we reduce those carbon, okay, so that they don't, sort of get neglected. And so
Mm.
that's what my research focused on. I hope I've been able to, shed a little bit of light in it, but
Yeah, yeah.
I'm happy to pick up the conversation, looking at specifics outside of this meeting, because I'm also conscious of time, because I'll be leaving in the next 3 minutes. My apologies, I joined late and I have to leave early. It's because Ramadan has started. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Joshua. So normally we do this for an hour, but we are really behind past the hour. So is it okay if we just go till 6:30 UK time? Sorry, I think 7:30 UK time. Is that okay? So next 30 minutes we'll call it a day. Is that okay? Speakers, can we go on? Thank you. So please feel free to leave when you want to. That's fine. So to our speakers, you see this platform is so well diverse and very powerful and enriching, because from scholarship we've gone to carbon, we've gone to the railway and sector. Just to add, if you want to know more about carbon talks, should I post a program? I think monthly or bi-monthly, or yeah, it has
Yes,
a platform where,
bi-monthly.
yeah. So
The next one is in April.
carbon talks, no carbon talks.
Construction Carbon Talk.
Oh, thank you. Concern Carbon Talk. So you can just find him on LinkedIn and follow the page if you want to know more about it. It's very enlightening and interesting um, platform. So just to move on, we have questions because I'm conscious of the time. Um, so um, yeah, F1 said thank you so much. He was going to take your advice. Abubakar says thanks to you. So he's going to thanks for responding to the questions. You know, one thing I like about this platform, our audience are very grateful. So when you give an answer, they're always happy to say thank you. So thank you for that. That's very encouraging. Okay, next question is from Angela. She says, some of us are yet to hear from Commonwealth PhD. Please. Who answered this question now? Because sure, okay. Some of us are yet to hear from Commonwealth PhD. Please, around what month would shortlisted candidates be notified? No one should look at me. Oh. You guys can answer the
No, I
question.
think you are the one that's supposed to answer that because it's your forte.
Nina, would you answer it, Nina?
Ejiro, over to you.
I was trying to avoid answering questions. Okay. So, to the best of my knowledge, so I have some mentees that actually apply for Commonwealth PhD and they've not heard anything yet. So, I'm guessing for my time, I heard around early mid-April. I remember from my own experience. So, let's wait and see. So, possibly March, April. So, the fact you've not gotten a rejection letter, I think is a good thing if you ask me. So let's see, March, April. And most times, if you go to the website, they tell you when to expect it. So if you can read the website, that information is there also. And also the importance of communities. There are WhatsApp groups where people know what's happening. Join and stay updated. Know what is happening so that you not feel alone or feel that you're missing out.
Yeah, WhatsApp and Facebook groups too.
Oh yeah, Facebook. Thank you so much. Okay, I just want to before I go to the last questions, and if you have any other questions, I know people are typing and it might take a while to type for it pops to the platform. So please do type a question. We'll be ending this section in the next 10 minutes. And just before I go to the next question for the speakers, because I like asking questions on behalf of my mentees in the back end, I want to say thank you. We have a very good audience from different places today. That's for the ones that have let us know what they're journeying from. We don't know about others, but thank you for those from Algeria, from Nigeria, from Zambia, from Cameroon, from Botswana, from Mozambique, from United Kingdom. Thank you so much. I know there's a bit of time challenge or time difference, but thank you so much for journeying this evening. So my next question is on the STAR approach, because I think this is very important. Now, this is not just for the scholarship; it's also for but maybe the admission. Or also, these skills it be useful for them when they get into the system, when they get admitted, when they start schooling. So maybe I will prefer an example will be very helpful, because it's one thing to just tell people this is what to do, or nothing to tell them how to do it. So if you can give an example, that might be very just be as simple as possible. That might be very helpful. So my question is, so can any of you just give an example of maybe an essay explaining this using the STAR approach? Just so give the example. For example, you can talk about um, maybe education, like only not about transport or whatever. Just give an example. So, and in that example, show the situation, show the task, show the activity, show the result, and if possible, the lesson if you want to include that or not. So this can actually give people mental picture to understand exactly what is expected of them. Because we like to be as practical as possible to really help people. So anyone can start, please. I think that will be where I'll stop for today. Then we just say our last goodbye message. That's if no question pops up on the chat. So who wants to go first? And now we have questions. Okay. Um, um,
What
should we
interview
take
is
the question on the chat or should we continue with this?
Let's take the question on the chat.
Okay. Okay, so this is from Adele from LinkedIn. Will I be asked the inter Will I be asked in the interview to solve some equations or do any sort of calculation about my field of interest? I don't think this question is complete. What interview? I'm not sure
Yeah.
you mentioned. Let me scroll up. Did he mention any interview? So Adele,
I
we
think
don't
he's the
know
one that
what.
is waiting for Chevlin.
Really? I don't
No.
think it's the same people. No, it's not.
Oh,
So that one's
okay.
on YouTube. This on LinkedIn. Except it's the same person. But so other one thing I would say is before I allow the speaker respond is in one thing is that's very important. It's what they call the 7 C's of communication. When you're writing, be concise, be clear, be complete. Now this your message is not complete. We don't even know where you're coming from, where you're going to. What interview?
He has replied,
So try to oh,
Chevron.
indeed. Oh, great. Thank you for completing that. Okay. So I'm not a Chevrolet scholar. I have no idea. So who wants to help out? Sure, that was has left. Anybody?
Well, I have a bit knowledge because I worked with my partner for it. So basically, the interviews at Seven is just basically what you wrote in your essays. You will just be asked questions about what you wrote down in your essay. I think there are 4 criteria: leadership, hmm, networking, and the likes, sha. So you just be asked questions on that. No, you would not be asked to solve any equation or calculation. Nothing about that. Just basically everything that you wrote in your essay. I hope I answered your question.
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Nina?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. I don't know if it's maybe I froze. I don't know. I think I missed what you said, but I think others did. So I think we should proceed. So we talked about the star approach. So is anyone ready or Nina, can we start with you? So let's just give us an example that will be very helpful to people that don't understand how to use it.
Okay. A perfect example. I would like to use a real scenario that has happened in my experience in the past. So for the star approach, you usually go with the situation first. So in this case, I've been working in the NGO in the humanitarian sector for a lot of years now. So at that time, we didn't have funding in terms of taking care of people who the IDPs themselves proper when it comes to health. But there were funding in terms of shelter from UNHCR, FAO for food and all that. We realized that going to some of these IDP camps, most of them had dental issues, right? Either rotten tooth or decayed tooth and all that, teeth problems. The teeth were black and all that. So that was the situation on ground. We realized that there was no much concern in terms of health, dental health of these people. In the northeast, so what we did raising funds, right? So the task now is that we resorted to raising funds internally and also raising other forms of resources that will help us other than funds. So we reached out to a water factory. Then in that was in Yola, that was in 2017. We reached out to a water factory, said, "Oh, this is what we want to do. We need water. We don't have money. We're raising money, but we don't say, don't give us money. We just need water." They accepted and they donated, I think, more than 50 packs of water and then 150 bags of pure water as at then. We reached out to Close Up, and we said, "Oh, this is what we want to do. Dental health." We wrote a letter to them and said, we are doing a dental health outreach, and this is what we wanted to do. Can you give us? We're not looking for money. Just give us toothpaste and toothbrushes, right? As part of their corporate social responsibility, and they gave it. So that was what we did. We reached out, we gathered resources from here and there. We gathered funds. We went to hospitals. We wrote to Federal Medical Center and we said, "Oh, we're having a dental outreach. We want your doctors, right? On a volunteer basis. These doctors should come, please, just to volunteer their time. Give us a list of the things that you feel we would need to do, basic dental health thing. It might not be serious surgery, but the basic dental health issues that these people were having." And some doctors volunteered from the primary health care centers, from the federal medical center, and some of the hospitals. We got like almost 10 doctors. We were surprised, right? We got like 10 doctors that were willing, but now we needed money to buy the dental toolkit. So dental toolkit is usually one. You can't use it for another person, and there are ones that we use and sterilize. So we reached out to other companies that produce this dental toolkit to say, "Oh, this is what we want to buy." We wanted to buy 1,000 because our target was for 1,000 people. We wanted to buy for 1,000, but what we have is 500. Can you give us at least those ones that we can sterilize? We will buy for the ones that can go for one two kit per kid, and then the ones that can be used for multiple people that we can sterilize, give it to us, right? And I mean, we bought it, and then as another advantage to what we bought, they gave us the two kits that can be sterilized. Now we need sterilizing machine. We reached out to American University of Nigeria. They had a health center for the university, and we said, "Oh, we just need a sterilizing machine. We have the health practitioners who will take care of it. We just need it for 2-3 days and all that." Before you know it, we took out the outreach, and that's the tax that we did. And then the action was, we did the outreach. We went to 2 RDP camps. We treated. You could imagine people that had a lot of dental issues in the IDP camp, rotten tools. The ones that needed basic treatment, we did the basic treatment. The one that needed referral, we did referral. There, because there's what they call medical under one roof. So what we did, there is referral system. So those ones that our capacity for the doctors and the money and the toolkit we had could not take care of it, like the surgery ones and the tooth removal and all that. We noted their name. We did referrals. We referred them to the general hospital, and we booked a date with the general hospital, and they treated it. So you see the story, right? The situation starts first. You look at what is the situation on ground, what's happening. You look at, okay, this is the situation. We've picked it up. We're going to solve it. What are the tasks? If it's fundraising, you can say you delegated tasks to do this. If it's not fundraising, it's an individual project or individual, let's say an essay or Q&A. You can say, okay, this is what I did, A, B, C, D, and then this is the action proper. We did this. And then the result is that out of 1,000 people, 500 had their tooth cleaned, 500 had referrals. Lesson learned is that these people are not taken care of for their medical health. You write down the things that you've learned from the beginning of the situation analysis to when you started carrying out the attacks and the actual activity that you did before. So for you to be able to capture lessons learned is something that you have to be intentional from the beginning. Lesson learned, you start capturing it from when you start taking note of a situation. So the situation analysis, what are the lessons? When you are doing the task, what are the lessons, activity results, before you can have a very comprehensive lesson section in your essay. So it could be anything, but the STAR approach takes that. What was the situation before you came in? What are the things that you outlined to do, and what exactly did you do? After doing it, what is the result now, right? So sometimes when you are writing for STAR approach, your result might not be a result of the past. You can have a future tense result, right? Let's say you're writing an essay, you want to, it's for scholarship or for job or for whatever reason, and you're using the STAR approach. You could say that this is the situation on ground. People are migrating as a result of ABCD, and 1, 2, 3 needs to be done. And during my course of study, I'm looking at focusing more on remote sensing. You hit the point. This is what I'm looking at focusing more on. And then your result can be a future tense result. When I'm done with all this, I hope to achieve, these are the things that will be achieved if all these things are put in place. So sometimes, depending on the context of what you're writing, your results can be a future tense. Your results can be something that has been achieved, and then that way. So yeah.
Thank you so much. And please, you want to add to that?
Yes, I want to add that you should always back up your story with data, with facts. Maybe you quote a percentage according to so 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 and so 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 so
Mhm.
percentage of blah blah blah. Just to give your story more weight. That's what I want to add.
Thank you so much. I
Yes.
think we're really
So,
past the hour. Okay. Yeah, please go on. It's fine. Go on.
oh no, so nothing to say. I'm just saying that, yeah, true. Just back it up with reference, date, time, data, facts, and figures, right?
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I think normally this should be for 1 hour, but we went beyond 1 hour and 35 minutes. I think that's enough because the speaker needs to go and attend to other things. So I really want to apologize for that. But I want to say thank you to our audience on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on here on YouTube for joining in from different countries and time zone and for making this section very engaging with your questions. Thank you so much. So feel free to like the section or let us know if this section was impactful for you. So upcoming sections next week we have speakers from the US. Actually, from the people. Okay, one of them is I think a researcher or a professor, and the other one is a student. So they are coming to give you two perspectives on how to prepare for graduate school, what students do wrong, and why they don't get certain admission or scholarship. So if you're interested in school in the US, I would advise you come on Saturday. Then also normally make Sunday or Q&A section. And also on 23rd is PhD for you. And that's a serious question. Are you sure you want to do PhD? Because there's a lot of things going on there. So you not go in and abandon it or take 2 decades to do a PhD. So these are people coming to share their knowledge, their experience, and very, very diverse panel. So I want to say thank you so much to everyone being here. So I would like my speakers to give um, their final remarks. So maybe we'll start with anyone, then we'll call it a night. So who want to go first? Or concluding remarks, yeah, for this section, of course. Okay, do I have to call somebody? Okay, who would like to
Okay.
call?
So I want to wish you all the best in your application. So please, like Ejiro said, join communities. Don't walk in isolation. Ask questions. Speak out when you get hooked in situations. Reach out to other people that are in your cohort that has applied or are planning to apply. Form a community, right? Because it goes a long way, even after the application, up until your arrival and up until your study. Truth be told, it can be very lonely at the top. So please reach out, form your community, prepare, always prepare ahead of time. Don't be in a rush, right? Don't be in a rush. Most of these scholarships, they happen every year. So don't be in a rush to make a bad application. Take your time, learn your lessons from other people, and then put in a strong application. Always get someone to look at your work. No matter how much intelligent you think you are, always have 2 or 3 persons that will look at your essays, review your essays, or look at your application before you submit. People read from different diverse perspectives. You would always find someone that will spot something. But be careful with the kind of people that will read your essays so they don't draw you out of line. So people that have the same pathway, if you are going for transport, people that have that logistic background and all that, look at your essay, ask questions and reviews, so that your applications can come out strong. So all that
Thank,
being said, I wish you all the best.
Yeah.
thank you, and praise.
Yeah, okay. I want to add to what Nina has said. Um, in regards to joining communities, also watch YouTube videos. YouTube is like another school of its own. So watch videos of different scholars who have gotten this scholarship and just give it your all. I wish you the best too.
All right, thank you so much. And I think we're going to call it a night here. So thank you all so much. And just as a final reminder, we have sections coming up on the 16th, studying the US, and on the 23rd is PhD for you. So see you next week, Saturday, 6 p.m. GMT or 7 p.m. WAT, depends on where you're joining in from. And we hope this has been useful for you. Thank you so much and have a good night. Bye, everyone.
Bye.